Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stylebytife. If you're a returning subscriber, you're especially welcome. And if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. Please hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be making a simple long pencil skirt. So if you're interested in learning that, keep on watching and let's get started. So guys, I'm making use of this beautiful African print here to make this skirt, and you need about 2 yards of it. Also, I have my lining pieces and a zipper. The measurements you will need for this tutorial include your waist measurement, your round hip measurement, and your skirt length. So to start off this tutorial, I'm going to fold my fabric into 4. That's going to give me the front and the back pieces. So I'm going to cut out the front and the back pieces of this skirt together, as you can see how I did it like this. After that, you're going to measure it out to ensure that the measurement is wide enough for the bigger part of your measurement, which is the hip measurement divided by 4 plus extra 2.5 inches for sewing allowance. So this is exactly more than enough for it, because my hip is 40 divided by 4 is 10, and this here is going to serve as the sewing allowance. And this other part here is going to be the zipper allowance for the back, which is about 2 inches wide. So what I'm going to do now is to cut away this excess fabric here. Now you're going to draw a starting line. And from that line, I'm going to leave about 1.5 inches away from the top for the waistband. And I'm going to mark my hip line, which is 9 inches, and then to my knee line, which is 21 inches. After that, I'm going to rule a line across this point. Still taking note of that 1.5 inches, I'm going to mark the length of the skirt, which is 41 inches plus extra 2 inches sewing allowance equals to 43 inches. So what I like to do now is to fold my fabric up by that 2 inches allowance, because the excess fabric is going to be the part of the lining. I'm going to explain that better later. So I'm going to pin this fold down now so that it stays perfectly okay and doesn't move from where I want it to be. Now you're going to come back to the top and you're going to start taking all your body measurements on the skirts. So guys, from the center front, as you can see where I'm placing my tape, I'm going to measure my waist measurement divided by 4 and I mark it here. And I added extra 1 inch for my dart intake, and then I added extra 2 inches for sewing allowance. Coming down here, I'm going to measure out my hip measurement divided by 4 again, and I'm going to mark it here, and then I added extra 2 inches as well for sewing allowance. Now on the knee line, I'm going to mark my hip measurement divided by 4 here. I didn't add any stitching allowance to this because I wanted to have that tight shape effect at the end. But if you want to add any stitching allowance, go ahead and do so. So I'm going to take the same measurement I took on the knee line at the down part of the skirt on the hemline. So what I'm going to do now is to join the lines together to give me my skirt cuff. This is what I have after joining the lines together. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. Now from the center front on the waist, I'm going to come down by 1 inch, as you can see on the front piece. And I'm just going to connect it to meet the waistline. This is going to help the skirt to sit perfectly on your waist. So you're going to cut it out. So this is basically all the measurements we need to have on this skirt. The next thing I'm going to do now is to cut out my lining pieces using the actual fabric. So I've gone ahead to cut out the lining pieces for both the front and the back. And like I said before, my lining pieces is just going to be from the waistline to this point where my folded stopped, because this folded fabric is going to be the part of the lining. You can see what I'm trying to explain. The lining stopped exactly where the fold ended. Now we're going to go ahead and start joining the lining pieces to my actual fabric. So I place my lining pieces on the right side of my actual fabric and ensure that the waist area of the lining aligns with each other. And now you're going to bring the ends together. So I'm just going to head over to the sewing machine and stitch it down to the hem. After that, I will align my lining to meet my waistline, as you can see, and then stitch down this side and the other side as well with about half an inch stitching allowance. Now for the back piece, I'm going to repeat the same thing. So I'm placing my lining pieces on the right side of my actual fabric, making sure that the hip aligns. And you're going to go ahead and join the end and the side just the way I did in front. So this is what I had after I was done stitching it down. You can see what I was saying about this down part. The next thing I'm going to do now is to turn everything over to the right side, and then I'll go ahead and iron it out. So guys, this is what the front and the back looks like after I was done ironing. So I'm arranging all my pieces together to get my darts. To get that, I'm going to use my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. For me, it's 7 inches, and that divided by 2 is 3.5 inches. I'm going to take the measurement from the center front. As you can see where I'm placing my tape, I marked 3.5 inches. After marking, I'm going to make a notch with my scissors on both the front and the back pieces so I know exactly where to stitch on my sewing machine. Now I'm going to fold one part of the dart area like this. Ensure that it stays straight to the end, and I'm going to mark from the waist down to 4.5 inches. So now I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and I'm going to make a dart from here to the top of the skirt, and I'll repeat the same process for all other parts of the skirt. After I was done stitching down my darts on both the back and the front pieces, the next thing I'm going to do on this skirt is to place the back piece down like this, as you can see, and I'm going to add the front piece to it as well. Remember this extra stitching allowance, the zipper allowance that I left at the back earlier. So I'm still extending my tape by that 1.5 inches at the top, and I marked 9 inches down. On the hemline, you're going to come up by as many inches as you want to use for your slit at the back. I used 21 inches for mine because that's where I want my slit to start from. So from this point here, I'm going to draw a straight line to meet that point. So this line I draw out is only the part I'm going to be stitching down. As you can see, I've stitched it down and I just went ahead to hold the zipper area with a pin. And I'm going to be using my hemming gum to just gum the slit area. So this is what the back is looking like right now. If you don't want to use hemming gum, you can totally do this with your hand. Just use your needle and try to hem it. Moving ahead, I'm going to put the back and the front together right side facing each other, and what I'm going to do is to mark out all my measurement from the waistline. I'm going to divide my waist measurement, my hip measurement, and the measurement of the other part of the skirt. So after marking out all my measurements, I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and stitch down on the both side. So guys, I've stitched it down. As you can see, it looks very neat and it's so beautiful. The next thing I'm going to do is to attach the band. So for the band, I already folded this piece of fabric into two, and it's about 4 inches wide and 2 inches in a fold. And then the length is enough to go around my waist. As you can see, I also went ahead to iron my gum stay to it. Now I'm going to go ahead and stitch this band all the way around my waist. And then I'm going to attach my zip. After I was done stitching it down, this is what I have. You can see how my band looks like, and I've attached the zipper to the back. So that's it for the making of this beautiful long pencil skirt. This is how the front of the skirt looks like. I'll be dropping a tutorial soon on how to make the top I'm wearing with it. Thank you so much guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And please don't forget to like, share, comment. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.